Travis Wayne Goodsell. I've been telling you, I've been watching House lately, and I'm in season 3, and that's where they had the backstory for half of the season of a police officer who didn't like the way House treated him in the clinic, and so he bullied House and everyone at the hospital and the hospital to destroy their lives, just to get back at House for not liking his attitude. And so he committed lots of crimes. Fruit of the poison tree is a common one that gets used in expression for parable form. It means that any evidence that he collected came from his desire for retaliation and his illegal search, seizures, and all that. So everything that the cop did was a high crime because he was doing it in his job. He was using the cover of his work to commit crimes and destroying other people's lives, seizing their assets, shutting down their bank accounts, and denying them from prescribing drugs to the patients, thus putting the public at great health risk, etc., etc. All trying to get them to flip on House. And so I'm very disappointed with the writers. They didn't mention that. The judge sort of referred to it, but said she didn't know what was really going on. And so the police officer clearly was not doing his job. He is part of the executive branch. When he sees or gets a report from a citizen about somebody violating the law, he is supposed to bring them to the courts for prosecution, thus the prosecutor's office. And then they have to do their job. And it is unfortunate with my time here in Utah that professionals consistently do not want to do their job. They want to do what that police officer did in the show, which is a fiction. It was on the head of the author who wrote the script. And yet for some reason, I see officers refusing to do their job, refusing to make arrests, bring people to the courts. I see judges failing to recuse themselves, failing to make correct judgments. They are compromised. They're failing to do their job, and their job is to follow the Constitution. You fail to do your job, and you are committing a crime. I see medical doctors who refuse to treat people, to investigate. Instead, they do surface or symptom management rather than actually investigating to find out what the cause is. They make hasty generalizations. And I see the fake field of psychology dominating the whole state of Utah, compromising every single field of science, every single career job, every corporation. all fallacy arguments. That's what psychology is. It's one big fallacy. It's based on a false premise. And yet, they've been given extreme power and have become untouchable. So they're not doing their job, as they are a criminal operation. And of course the church uses them through family services. And yes, this is what we're getting to. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Brigham Young made it so that all his prophets are prophets, seers, revelators, and translators. Well, not translators. Didn't want nothing to do with translation. Not even the president have translation abilities. Not just the president of the church. And so they're not just apostles anymore. And Mormons are lied to about that, as Mormons then believe, oh, we've got 15 masters to obey. The scripture only says you can't serve 2 masters. It says nothing about 15. That's the kind of stupidity that results. It's a fallacious argument. And so, yeah, the prophets are supposed to warn Mormons in advance, not after the fact. Oh, and by the way, there's going to be creeping death that will escalate to a pandemic. So, just letting you know. Gee, thanks. They're supposed to help prepare. They're not supposed to hoard money. Dear God, the Book of Mormon says that any leader of an organization that's religion, that does it to make money, is priestcraft. And God doesn't like that. It may be legal, but it's morally wrong. And yet, the prophets all receive paychecks from the church for services of being a prophet. They profit off of being a prophet. Yeah, isn't that funny? Or punny? Priestcraft. Say, but anybody from the other quorums of 70 down to the lowest member in a specific calling, it's all voluntary. You have to pay tithing, so it's not really voluntary. You're extorted. Maybe if you were the Boy Scout leader, you didn't have to pay tithing, but that's what they put you in that position for, is to keep you active. But they did away with the Boy Scouts, so big, massive exodus. Well, if I'm not going to participate in church, why am I going to continue to pay tithing? So why then are the prophets making money? They're all old. They all get put in around 55 nowadays. Used to be earlier than that in the good old days. But now you're about 55. These guys are retired. They're not doing their jobs anymore. It's full-time profit. So what are they doing getting paid? Oh, right, criminal. Money laundering. They're receiving a paycheck from one source of income and laundering it through tithing back into the church through another source of income, which tithing then gets laundered further for more criminal activities. And despite reporting this, the federal government also refuses to do their job to hold the church accountable, to put a stop to this criminal operation that is hurting you guys. Because they're not preparing you. They're not warning you. They're not preparing you. They're not assisting you with being prepared. You've probably heard about the little parable crap of if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach a man how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. That's all BS. Because you teach a person, then you just throw them out on the streets. Where's the fishing pole? And the lure? And where's the pond? Where's the good, healthy fish? Oh, he's got to figure it out himself, huh? All you did was teach him how to fish. You didn't provide him with any of the fish. An eternal supply of fish for the rest of his life. That he now knows how to fish and can fish. So yeah, that parable is very weak, very wrong on multiple fronts. And so likewise, the prophets, they can't just read from scriptures or give their own opinion of morality and command you to obey them with standards and values. And they've done their job as they continue to collect money. There's a little more to it in taking care of the welfare of Zion. And they've failed to do their jobs for you. And you're going to get mad at me for telling you this, if you're even listening still. Only the people who have left the church are still listening. Sort of, maybe not. I've heard all this, I know. I'm gone. Travis isn't as funny as he thinks he is. But there's a danger that they're setting you up for. The church, not ex-Mormons. There's a reason why they're not doing their job. That they're hoarding money. That they're buying up land all over the world, not just Utah. That they're doing business deals with America's enemies. That they're compromising our government to try to destroy the government. And it's because they want their kingdom back. They aren't satisfied with just a religion. Getting up at conference twice a year, telling you to behave because you're evil, and keep giving them money. That's not enough for them. They want to control you and your life. They want to take your agency from you. Have you not figured it out? The whole standards and values for strength of the youth? Keep the covenant path? Or are you too far gone in their brainwashing scheme? You know, psychology. Can I not reach you to save your life? I don't want you to give me money for it. I don't want popularity for it. I just want to save your life. Is that too much to ask for? Apparently. With all the hate comments and death threats I get from people, I want nothing from you. I just want to save your life by telling you the truth. And what thanks do I get for it? But yeah. Section 101. Joseph Smith gives a parable starting in verse 43. And of course the church has tried to cover this up, because if you're just a participant in Mormonism, you'll never know. You have to actually study your scriptures and go, wait a minute. The prophets are lying to me. I can read for myself. This is how Christianity fell, in case you didn't know. The whole Protestant Revolution, you can thank the Gutenberg Bible, because normal, common, average, everyday people were able to read the Bible for themselves. Lutheranism. Yeah. Luther got to read the Bible. He was able to read multiple languages. And so he made his own version in German. Joseph Smith says that's the most accurate according to our doctrine. Why won't the church make a correct translation of the Bible? Right, because they're not translators. And they don't care about scriptures. So they weaponized you to think the Bible is porn, which then the Book of Mormon is not going to be banned. And then all the world will know that Mormons banned the Bible and not the Book of Mormon. And then Mormons are going to end up being a part of the fulfillment of latter-day prophecy of Joseph Smith. Because in verse 51, the enemy came by night, broke down the hedge, and the servants, prophets, of the nobleman arose and were affrighted and fled. A shepherd gives his life for the sheep when the wolves come to attack. Joseph Smith is saying that the prophets in the latter days are going to run away. They will not protect you from what they caused to have happen. And the enemy destroyed the works of the church and broke down the olive trees. Bye-bye, Mormons. You ever been to the point of the mountain? Not the point of the, well, you can be at the point of the mountain. There's Ensign Peak. That's what I'm referring to. I've been to both. Ensign Peak is higher. You just look out in the valley. I remember when I first got here, I went up there and I sat, watched, and it was mostly, desert land. There's lots of tree growth, per se, of desert tree growth. Not very much in the way of housing developments. And then, 10 years later, on a date, to Ensign Peak, and housing developments flooded the whole valley in that quick of a space of time. Now, granted, they didn't do it right because we ended up in a drought and a housing crisis and other problems. Just people not doing their job. But imagine when this night comes, be at Ensign Peak. I don't think you're allowed up there overnight. I think they close it off. So you'd have to hop the fence. Yeah. It'll be all lit up in flames. This is the firestorm that Joseph Smith knew was coming. This is the firestorm that Mormons are in denial of. Because the church is true. Therefore, Joseph Smith is wrong. All because you have banned the Bible and not the Book of Mormon. All because the legislature didn't do their job in following the Constitution, which is the First Amendment, and made that stupid pornography law, which led to the banning of the Bible. And the legislature are refusing to repeal the law. Davis County is refusing to repeal their decision on banning the Bible. They are purposely lighting the match for the enemy. All because the prophets have failed to do their job. So if you're wondering who's supposed to lead the church, if the prophets are going to be false, the church is going to fall, you're not even bothering to read, are you? Let alone listen to my own videos.